right.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I actually chugged my old beer.
Whoa. Your whole beer. I just chugged that whole. Look at this. I chugged that whole pitcher.
You're so full of
Were
shit.
you even watching? You never watched me, Britton. You never watch me.
No,
God.
I watched you with the little finger left. I'm destroying the myth. I'm a myth buster.
Don't hate the
That's a show.
Look. Don't hate the mic. Hate the pain. All right.
I came to
Moving
bring
right
the pain
along.
down the same.
Welcome everybody to Gearwire Crosstalk show program.
Thanks for tuning in.
Episode number 31. The big 3-1, and as our own Rob calls it,
Holy crap.
That's
Holy
gravel
model
anniversary.
in
Holy
bed.
crap.
So-
Big faker.
Gravel anniversary.
If you wonder why we're doing that in the bar here, it's because this is a special number for us. 31 is a big number. It's bigger than 25. It's bigger than 50. 31 is the gravel number
you never
for
see
us.
it coming.
Give me another drink.
So we're proud. We've, if you can't tell, we've actually been drinking a little
Paul.
bit, but that's okay. We've got a big episode of Crosstalk ahead of you guys. First of all, we had some wonderful viewer mail we're going to read for you from one of our loyal viewers, and we answer some of his questions. After that, we move on to check out the lovely Gibson Blues motherfucker. And moving right along from that,
That's the blues motherfucker.
and yeah, you can put that on the screen as well. Are you gonna do that, Kyle?
I don't know what it is, really.
Okay, cool.
it's
Kyle's gonna do that.
L00 for Christ's sake.
That's what I said. It just came out wrong.
Remake of a very popular.
And we're going to end it with a little bit of reminiscing from a previous show, show number 11, which was our aluminum show. Again, this is our gravel show. But this is going to be a bad show. You guys can already tell, can't you? Well, what can I say? It's going to be a lot of fun. So stick around. If you can, if you're at home, grab a drink.
Maybe
if you're on the road, grab a double.
we should do a second take.
Otherwise, this is going to be a fun show. So stick along. And before we get started, we're going to do a cheers to all of our viewers who have made this possible for so far so long.
This one's going down the hatch.
So smart.
We're going to spill some beer on the Mac right here and some on the Gibson.
I'm going to keep it on my lap.
All right, fellas, here you go. Uh-oh, Drew's starting ahead of us.
That's why they pay me the big bucks. Come on, gentlemen.
Couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Hey, man.
Well, I did just drink that pitcher.
It's in the blood, man, you know.
Well, dude, I just
Well, I don't know what to do
I just
now.
chugged a pint earlier with fucking Smarty Pants, man.
Hello, Rachel and other female viewers. My name
How'd
is
you know
Mike.
My middle name was fucking.
There's two
This is
Rachels
Britton.
that watch this show. They're both
This is
named
Dan.
Rachel.
And this is, what's your name
There's
again?
No, I'm not.
There's only two
This is
women
Drew.
who watch
No, I'm
this
not.
show.
So anyway, we're sloppy. We're going to get sloppier as we go on. So watch, enjoy, and have a beer alongside us.
Man, I'm
Thanks,
just
viewers.
fucking turning around at this point.
All right.
All right, before we get started on this first part, just want to let you guys know that actually the way that we work this whole thing is we actually do the intro last. So we will probably be progressively more drunk at the end, which is actually the beginning. So it's kind of an existential,
So, yeah, we were just drunker than we are right now.
Yes, exactly. So
That's-
right now we're totally
that's fine.
sober.
That's fine.
Totally sober.
We just got
Anyway,
here.
back to this wonderful letter we got from a Mr. Sam. It's quite a great letter, quite a long one. He asked us a lot about computer recording, and basically Sam is someone who comes from a different background from computer recording. He comes from a more traditional guitarist background. He kind of wants us to walk him through, some of the ways that maybe we got started in computer recording and some of the ways that he can kind of assimilate to the things that we talk about on the Crosstalk
Southern?
show or program.
I'm not sure, but he is a PhD.
Yes, he's going for his PhD. In fact,
English or something.
I'll read his introduction. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
I just think with a name like Sam, he should be like, I picture Confederate flags.
Woo!
I don't think Sam's going to appreciate that.
Sorry, Sam.
I'm not apologizing. Sam.
I'm defending you, Sam. Anyway, dear Crosstalk, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself because my sense is that I'm pretty typical of the people who read or watch the stuff on Gearwire. I'm in my early 30s. I've been playing and recording music for about 20 years. I'm in a band that practices twice a week and plays out about once a month. In my real life, I'm a graduate student working on a PhD in English. That's impressive, although I think your real life is your musicianship, which is pretty impressive itself. 20 years in making and recording music is pretty impressive to me. Basically, he goes on to tell us a little.
Questions, yeah.
Oh, I'll get to those. Okay. He goes on to tell us a little bit more about himself and about how he wants to get a little more familiar with the stuff we talk about related to computers. So I'll go right on to the questions. First, Sam asks, if I wanted to get a computer to record on, what would I buy? Would I get a high-end sound card from the manufacturer, or would it make more sense to buy a really high-end sound card from somebody who specializes in them? How much memory would I need or want? What do I do to buy it? Do I buy a Dell, and what do I buy later on from Sam Ash, Zounds, or Musician's Friend?
Okay, well,
We're gonna take these one at a time.
yeah.
All right, that's good.
Well,
That's good. Go
my
ahead,
thing
Dan.
would be
Actually, before we start, how you guys are all computer recordists, correct?
I wasn't paying
correct.
attention to the question.
Of course you weren't, Britton. Of course you weren't. What do you use, Britton? Do you have a computer?
Yes, I do.
And you use
I've worked on an array of systems.
okay.
I
What do you
prefer Pro
and right
Tools.
now? Okay, Pro Tools and on Mac or PC.
Either.
Okay.
Actually,
Gotcha.
I prefer either. But if I'm going to do more audio intensive stuff, I'll probably lean and actually rent something like an HD rig.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
And Dan?
I do both PC and Mac. I grew up doing Cakewalk on PCs, and now I use
Okay.
Sonar 6. That's my favorite.
Nice.
Then on Mac, I use Logic. It's a good program for a lot of things. I have Logic Pro 7.
Steep learning curve.
Yeah, steep learning curve. There's a lot of goofy stuff. For example, the length of a project is set to the number of quarter notes. It's
a good thing to know.
It's a discrete. You can only have such a long, project at a certain tempo, and it's kind of odd. But yeah, that's my thing. Those are
Okay.
the things
And
those are the programs I use.
What do you use
We'll
at
get-
home? PC or Mac?
PC.
Okay.
Sonar.
And Drew?
I've used both Mac and PC, all
Yeah.
sorts of different programs. Currently, I'm using a PC, actually an HP, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Mainly because of my budget. And
I didn't think you were lying, but go on.
I think
and,
you're lying.
Yeah, you should come over sometime. It's very sad. Anyway, we have we're currently running Nuendo, and it happens to be my new favorite program to run.
That's like the flagship Steinberg.
Yeah,
right?
it's just like Cubase, except you can do a lot more with it as far as video, and that's something I'm very interested in.
Yeah.
So I figure that's the program I need to learn, and in the process, totally fell in love with it. It's a great program.
cool.
Personally, I've been on a Dell since I started. I bought a Dell when I moved out here to Chicago after I was done with high school, and right away started recording on that. And since then, I've kind of grown up, but I'm still on a Dell. I still use PC. I love it. At the end of the day, my sound sounds just as good as somebody on a Mac. So I think the platform isn't really entirely important, but we'll speculate on that a little bit more in just a
Yeah,
second.
we will.
An honorable mention, though, is that Ableton Live is a great program to
Absolutely.
use if you are more into remixing and DJing and sampling and stuff like that.
Arguably so.
It's arguable, but it is an honorable mention. I mean, I know
Sure.
none of us here per se use it intensively. I've heard,
Actually, I do quite a bit.
Oh,
Yeah, we
and
just
I'm
got Live
I'm on
6.
Pro Tools. I didn't mention that.
Yeah.
yeah, but like it is a program that like if you are more interested in sample and electronic based music and those kind of funkier effects, it's something to look into. So.
I think Sam's question specifically was about should he buy a really high-end sound card or should he buy something that comes stock from the manufacturer?
Definitely not that
no,
second.
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah, the like you could buy like a Sound Blaster Audigy or something like that,
Don't
or
do
even
that.
higher end from Dell or from the other PC manufacturer, but you don't want to do
serious.
that.
Yeah, you're not gonna do
basically
that.
because you're not going to get good conversion. You're not, and probably the most notable issue is you're not going to get good I/O. You're not going to have preamps in that sound card. You're not going to have what you need to connect to your guitar or connect a mic or anything like that from what comes stock on your system, no matter how much you spend directly from the manufacturer.
Yeah, the analog sections on those cards, they're on a PCI card, a circuit board, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Not good for analog equipment. I mean, a lot of that stuff will be on boards, even with the higher end prosumer models like the Motus and things like that. But they're going to be designed better. I mean, the thing that you want is discrete analog sort of stuff, kind of like Apogee.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really expensive. So I would say, like, you definitely want to go with something. I would recommend something FireWire or USB based.
Absolutely.
If you want to do something, multi-channel outputs, multi-channel inputs, which you may or may not want to do at the time, you probably want to go with FireWire. But yeah, definitely stay away from the sound cards that Dell tries to sell you or anyone like that. I mean, honestly, they make pretty good computers, and what you're going to want to do is kind of strip them down a little bit, make all the things that come standard turn off.
That's
except for
very
the stuff that
important.
you need.
And I like what you say about FireWire and USB. Having external devices helps a lot. Internal cards tend to get a lot of more interference from the hard drives and other parts of the computer. So having it further away from the computer helps. And as you say, tweaking your system so that it works great. Like, let me tell you a quick little story. When we got the HP, it came with XP Media. And I don't know if anybody out there has worked with that OS. It doesn't work for audio recording.
Terrible
it just doesn't work.
I think
so we had to hammer the machine and start over with
I'm going to weigh in for a second. Wiki
order for that to
wah.
work.
We've got a bunch more questions.
I know.
Sam, go through.
I know we got a bunch of questions. I'm just going to try to simplify this because we threw a lot at him. All right. The thing is that you want to stay away from stock PC cards because you're not going to get the best sound quality or the IOs that you want. A lot of times manufacturers do bundle software with their already, packaged USB or
That's true.
FireWire devices. Those are the popular ones, but that doesn't mean you have to do it. You can still get a PCI card-based interface. Motu makes them, so does Audio. These are good interfaces. And then you will have something that gets started. Something that's notable to look into, though, on the lower end, if you're on a budget, Pro Tools makes the Mbox. There's also the Sapphire from Focusrite.
It's great.
Sapphire LE.
Yeah, Sapphire LE from Focusrite's a great starter unit. Lexicon makes a good one, too. And these are some pointers to get you in the right direction. You definitely want something that is going to fix that. Kind of stay away from manufacturers that don't normally specialize in this sort of arena, like Tascam, creative,
Right.
right. Alesis, a lot of these other manufacturers, they may be good as an entry level price point, but they're not going to be giving you the quality. So the few extra dollars.
If you've been doing it for so long, you wouldn't want to just invest in something like that.
Nah.
Well, I tell you what, we've got 3 more questions from Sam.
There's one more thing I wanted to address in that. He asked how much RAM. A gig of RAM.
At least.
At least.
That's
As much
coming
as
up.
possible, really.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No matter if you're running PC or Mac. Most Macs come standard with 512. You're going to want to buy a little gig chip because it comes with 256 things, and those are all the slots, and they're all used up. So you're going to have to pull one out, put a gig in there, and then you could keep the 256 in there. But that's on the Mac side. On the PC side, if you build your own or get it custom made from Dell, you can probably get it pre-installed with that RAM.
I don't know, Hillary.
Sam,
what do you think?
Hillary Clinton's
In the
front of
background.
us and behind
Freaking
us.
robot, man. Look at her.
Answers.
So Sam, I'd like to actually invite you to something. I'd like to.
We've lost Britton.
Yeah, we did lose.
He's gone after Hillary.
Okay, anyway, so Sam, I'd like to invite you to something. We got a couple more questions from you, but before we get into those, I wanted to invite you that if you're interested, to send us, the computer you're looking at getting. We can help you customize that. We'll take a look at it, give you some recommendations based on, the options that you have, and kind of walk you through that. And if you're comfortable with that, we'll share that with the Crosstalk audience later.
Absolutely. That'd be
Robo.
Moving on to the next questions. Here we go. Mac or PC?
Cut 'em off.
What are the pros and cons of the various software packages? Mac or PC? Software on Mac or PC.
I
Not
got something to
performance of
say.
the hardware, but software.
Wait.
between the two
I have one
platforms.
major thing to say, and I'm not guilty of this myself, but my friends tell me that it's a lot more difficult.
I need clarification here.
Well.
All right. Software packages on a Mac or PC. Are you talking about stock, like what comes with? Because
No,
like
no.
iTunes.
What software is
under-
available for Mac or PC?
Oh, all right.
Well, here's all I have to say. This is the big deciding point nowadays from what I hear. It's much more difficult to use cracked programs and cracked plugins on a Mac than it is on a PC. Not that I use that. Like I mentioned, I use PC.
Let's not
It
talk
has nothing
about
to do
the
with that reason at
illegalities
all, but that's something that you may want to contemplate thinking about if you're going to purchase.
Mac is what? Less than what? 10% of the market for computers.
PCs. I don't know.
I don't remember what.
Yeah,
the number
but what's their holding for the audio market? Like it's
for the media.
35% of Gearwire traffic. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
There you
impressive.
go. That's
yeah.
good
But
to
Rob,
know.
Rob, do you have a number about like actual people who use audio programs on Macs versus PCs?
74%.
You just made
74%?
that up. Well, what?
74%?
All right, no, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, so
Yep.
So
good.
So it's-
you heard it here. 74%.
so it's significantly more.
Personally, I feel Macs are a lot better though.
Oh, I'm on the loose now. You put me in public. It's your fault.
Now, Rob, was that 74% of people use Mac or 74% of people use PC, or does it not really matter?
Well,
Wait.
I have my
What does
opinion.
Steve Albini use?
Heroin.
That's good. Does he use and endorse it like in the Big
That's
Black
from off the
record?
camera.
As far as legal,
Dan take this question away, answer it, and then we'll move on to the next one.
as far as well.
Wait,
as far as
Rob,
what's
I got another
available-
question.
As far as what's available on Mac and PC, there's a lot more open source stuff available on PC. If you're really into like, getting weird, making different sounds, getting experimental, PC's definitely the way to go. There's a few things going on with Mac, like Apple TV's been, being used as a hack instrument and things like that. But I would say, I mean, of course, I'm biased because I'm.
No.
I have a history of a PC guy.
You're right on the money.
But Macs do run a bit stable right out of the box.
Yep.
PCs you got to mess with. You got to
absolutely right.
got to kind of know how to work them.
You got to be computer savvy to know how to tweak the OS
exactly.
properly.
If you're scared of computers, get a Mac.
I'd like to-
even
I'd
then
like
it's not going to
to-
be perfect. But
I'm going to make a segue from that into the next question, which is related, which is essentially about software and sample library languages like VST versus RTAS, etc.
These are just wrappers.
He says you're always talking about sample libraries and plugins and stuff made by third parties. Does that stuff usually work with multiple recording applications? Just one of them? If I wanted to take a full advantage of the kind of weird things you guys talk about and can download from people, does that mean that I should get, say, Cakewalk rather than Pro Tools?
Can I handle this one?
Yes, you can.
Go for
Britton.
it.
Pro Tools.
As long as you handle it correctly
Same
and like
way.
a baby.
I'm actually going to get serious for a second. On
Okay.
this, okay. Pro Tools, which is RTAS and TDM, all right, is a very closed source plugin. It's not open to a lot of third party developers unless you get the proper issuing license and development rights and whatever. It's just not a flexible system. All the weird stuff we talk about and all the open party stuff we talk about is not really available for Pro Tools and not too available for audio units. VST is kind of where it's at to get those weird free plugins and all that other stuff because it's used across multiple, basically multiple DAWs. So it's definitely going to be something that's more to your advantage if you're more interested in experimenting. Now, if you want things that are I guess the wrappers are more stable, it's more prestigious to have, then you'd go Pro Tools, but the sound's not going to change. It's not going to be one of those things that you're going to get a different sound from an RTAS plugin to a VST plugin. They're just wrappers.
And most big people, like plugin makers, Native Instruments, Waves, you buy this stuff, you get
All of
the
them.
RTAS, DXI,
audio unit.
and
Yeah, and
get all of them.
I need to stress the importance, though, about what a wrapper is. All right, a wrapper is nothing more than a coating that makes the plugin work with the DAW. It's not something that's big and scary. It's just a technical term that describes what it interfaces to in relation to a certain DAW specific brand. So, I mean, it's not going to really matter on a grand scheme of things. But if you want something more flexible, then I would definitely look into VST or DXI.
It's like the damn Sahara
All right.
off camera over there.
All right.
All right, next
So
question.
last question. Let's say
that
I already
adequate?
have a
I
bunch
wasn't
of
listening.
instruments.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was listening.
What do you think, Hillary
but-
Clinton?
I usually tune out. Let's say I already have a bunch of instruments and microphones and a decent computer. What else do I need to buy? How much more quality do I get when I spend $1,000 rather than $2,000 on that stuff? So he's
Preamps.
acting about signal processing.
Preamps, compressors. I recommend the best thing, once you have all that stuff, the best thing to add to your system is some way to sort of sweeten the sound after you mix. Some sort of, and usually the best way to do that is analog.
They're here.
Get a stereo compressor, a stereo equalizer, and run your mix through it, or mix through it. And I think that's really important. Another thing is, or you could approach it differently and stay in the box and get a very nice
Thank you, sir.
plugin sort of suite, like the UAD stuff, TC Electronic stuff, that runs on something outboard, so it saves resources. Something like Focusrite Liquid Channel, SSL Duende, if you want to spend a lot more money. So you could either go get more hardware outboard processing, or you can stay in the box and get high quality plugins. It is very important to get high quality plugins. We talk about all these low cost and free and open source created plugins. A lot of them just don't sound professional. And you could use them creatively and stuff, but really getting high quality plugins is like the easiest way to, while staying in the box, which is a lot simpler for most studio guys these days. It's a good way to sort of increase the level that you're working at, increase the quality of your output.
I think to start, a good idea of something to pick up would be, like a channel strip. You can get a decent channel strip. A lot of people make them. Just something with a lot of processing you can use on a few different applications. Like, if you're miking a guitar cabinet, if you're miking a vocal, things like that. Things that are optimized towards those kind of things, and they'll include everything.
And we're talking something outboard that has a mic preamp,
yes, a compressor,
or dynamic
maybe even an EQ,
and possibly an EQ.
Right.
And what you're going to want that for is when you're doing vocals, you want to limit the vocals coming in a bit.
Right.
It'll make it sound more like you're used to hearing on a record.
Absolutely.
Also, it'll let you use more of those bits on your converters.
Mm-hmm.
So a higher level is generally better, and that helps you achieve that without clipping. So yeah, I think that's a really good suggestion.
All right. Well, yeah, Sam, like I said, if you want us to give you some more pointers about the system you're going to build, take a look at a few computers, send them to us. We'll take a look at them on the air, and we'll talk about them, and we'll give you some pointers on what we think might make sense, might make the most sense for you. So there you go.